Welcome to HFY Stories. Please subscribe to the channel. Your one click means the world to me. Vaughn's claw hovered over the send key of his communicator. 4 words sat in the message field. I am still alive. He had not sent them yet. He wanted them to still be true by the time he did. 3 hours earlier, none of this had seemed survivable. It began with a hologram of a small blue-green world and a professor who smiled with all 4 eyes at once. Advanced Xenobiology 401 was mandatory for graduation, and this term's assignment was a Class 12 Deathworld, the harshest rating the Galactic Union issued, reserved for planets that killed almost anything that touched them. Vaughn, a Graxian built like a small transport vehicle, had survived worse courses. He had not, until that morning, met a human. She came through the door barely taller than his knee joint, dark hair tied back, wearing fabric that covered nothing that mattered and would stop nothing that wanted to hurt her. Kira Thompson set a bag on the floor and grinned at 40 terrified alien faces like she'd walked into a party. "So I hear you're all freaking out about the field trip," she said. "Totally fair. Let's fix that." She did not fix it. She made it worse, one cheerful sentence at a time. She had grown up, she explained, in mountains full of trees she climbed, water she swam in, and dirt she crossed with no shoes on, bare feet, on broken glass, thorns and stone. "You get good at watching where you step," she said, like this were a virtue and not a horror story. When Thorax, the insectoid in the second row, asked whether her species regularly permitted juveniles to traverse hostile terrain unprotected, Kira laughed and said that was basically what childhood was. Then came the pictures. A creek where she caught armored crustaceans with her hands and later boiled and ate them at a gathering. A waterfall she jumped into after a 6-mile hike, water cold enough to stop a heart, venomous snakes described only as shy. Mila, 2 rows down, had stopped taking notes and started simply staring. It was the plants that broke the room. Kira held up 2 nearly identical stems. One, she said, was a sweet, edible fruit. The other would blister human skin for 2 weeks and could do far worse to different blood chemistry. She held the poisonous one bare-handed while she said this, unbothered, like she was holding a pencil. "Doesn't it hurt you?" Mila's voice had gone thin. "Not much. I'm one of the lucky ones." She wiped her palm on her pants and moved on, as if she hadn't just been holding a weapon. Then the video. A black and white animal the size of a housecat, tearing into a hive while stinging insects swarmed it, never flinching. Moments later, the same creature faced down a cobra twice its length, took a bite from the strike, and ate the snake anyway. "Honey badger," Kira said fondly, like introducing a cousin. A student 2 seats from Vaughan stood, walked out, and did not return. 2 more followed. The professor did not stop them. Vaughan's claws had locked around the edge of his seat, and something buried under 300 generations of civilized breeding was screaming at him to leave too. That was the moment he began composing the message in his head. It did not get better the following week. In a training room stocked with quarantined earth vegetation, where the air itself felt like breathing warm soup, Kira taught them to strike metal on stone until sparks caught, open flame indoors on purpose, and to purify water by boiling it over that same fire, and to navigate with a magnetized needle and a folded paper map. Because, as she put it, batteries die, but the planet doesn't stop being a planet. Vaughan built a shelter from branches with his own claws and found, to his irritation, that it actually worked. Then came the real mountains. The shuttle set down in air that tasted like something alive, and for 3 days they hiked, practiced, and watched wildlife that Kira narrated with relentless delight, bears that were basically shy, turkeys that turned aggressive only in the wrong season, snakes that mostly just wanted to be left alone. Somewhere in the second day, Vaughan noticed his own stride had changed. He was no longer fighting the uneven ground. He was reading it. On the final night, the group sat around a fire Kira had built without a lighter, the valley gone dark and enormous around them, no lights below but stars above. Insects sang in the brush. Nobody had spoken in several minutes, which for this class was itself remarkable. It was Vaughan who broke it. He hadn't planned to ask. The question simply arrived. Do you ever feel afraid here? Kira turned the question over before answering, poking the coals with a stick. When I was 12, my dad took me up here, well, somewhere like here. Just the two of us, 8 miles in, no lights, no walls, just fire and stars and him. The fire popped, nobody moved. I asked him basically what you're asking me, how he wasn't scared, out in all this with nothing between us and everything that could go wrong. She looked up, and for the first time all week the smile was gone, replaced by something steadier. He told me being scared of your own ground was a waste of the ground. He said respect keeps you alive, and fear just keeps you small, and this planet built us hard on purpose so we'd learn the difference early. Her voice caught just slightly and she let it. I don't fear Earth. It's home. You don't get scared of home. You get to know it and then you stop flinching. Nobody spoke. Somewhere in the dark something rustled, and for once not a single student reached for a shield. Humans are insane, Vaughan said at last, and it came out closer to awe than accusation. Kira laughed, soft and real, and the fire cracked, and the silence after felt less like fear and more like something settling into place. They climbed the final ridge before dawn, 4:30 and freezing, using muscles bred for combat instead of endurance. Vaughan slipped twice and caught himself both times. By the third mile, he was moving the way she'd shown him, not fighting the mountain, but reading it, matching it. They crested the summit as the sky split open in orange behind the ridgeline, the valley spreading beneath them in folded layers of blue-green vanishing into mist. Nobody said a word. Vaughan found his eyes stinging and told himself it was only the wind. He looked down at his communicator, deleted the 4 words he typed a week earlier, and wrote something else instead, that the planet had tried, in its way, to kill him all week, and had instead taught him something about how the hardest ground grows the strongest legs. He was keeping the fire striker. He was keeping the paper map. Apparently that was a family tradition now too, just borrowed from someone else's family. Weeks later, he stood in front of his own xenobiology class with images of green ridgelands behind him and told them everything. The barefoot childhood, the crustaceans caught bare-handed, the poison held without flinching, the honey badger that ate a cobra and did not care, the fire lit from stone. He told them about a summit at dawn and a valley made of layers of blue-green fading into mist, and about a fire on the last night, where a woman half his size had told him the difference between fear and respect, and meant it. Earth will kill you if you're careless, he told them, holding up the compass Kira had pressed into his hand at the trailhead, its needle still trembling, still finding true north no matter how the ground beneath it shifted. But it will also teach you not to flinch. That's not a small thing to learn from a planet that could have just killed you instead. He did not withdraw from the course. Next semester's assignment was posted a week later, Amazon Rainforest Ecosystem Analysis, and Vaughan read it twice, put the compass back in his pocket, and went to order proper boots. If a human child could manage barefoot, he decided, he could at least manage with better footwear than last time.